Hey folks, Scott Grove here. Going to do another guitar review today on the 1981, this thing, yeah, it's the Gibson Explorer 2, or better known as the E2, again standing strictly for Explorer 2. You will see some different things right away about this. Number one, again, it's 1981. The wildest thing about it is it is in 100% mint condition, which is a beautiful thing. Okay, these are not to be confused with other guitars that were put out, some at the same time, later on in the run. These actually went from 1979 until 1983. There were other E2s, Explorer 2s, with all kinds of finishes. They call them CMTs, curly maple tops. And you'll see those. You'll see purple ones, you'll see cherry sunburst ones, blah blah blah. So they'll have tobacco sunburst ones, but they're not like these. They are just a flat top. They do not have all the bevels and cuts, tummy cuts, and so forth, like these have on them. Okay, so these were the first and the grooviest. Check it out. What is all of this going on with the wood? Well, of course, the dark brown parts are walnut, and the lighter color is maple. And that is true throughout the whole guitar. Now, they did these in a flip-flop version, meaning that the maple was sandwiched, it was here on the front, so really light maple, and then the rosewood sandwiched in between, then maple again, then rosewood, then maple again on the entire backs. Those are harder to find, and of course harder to find in great condition. Okay, so again, they made these from 1979 until 1983. These were partnered up with the other axe that lasted 1 year less, actually. The V2, which I have right here, and I'll show you the headstock of it. You can see this full review on this guitar. I'll plug it up too just while we're here, because I have nothing better to do. But both amazing guitars. Yes, those are Bill Lawrence single coil pickups. They are not humbuckers, they are hum canceling. What it is a single coil, basically, for all intensive purposes, cut in half, and then one half wound one way, one half wound in reverse. So they're not humbuckers, they're just hum canceling. This thing sounds just like a Telecaster when you plug it in. It's amazing, and I'll let you hear that. Again, the walnut, the maple, the walnut, and so forth. I don't know if I screwed it up earlier and said rosewood or whatever, but they are walnut, maple, walnut, maple. Okay. I don't remember much of anything these days. Okay, so you have on all of these ebony fretboards, fingerboards, whichever you prefer to call them. They are all fingerboards until you put frets on them. Then they become fretboards with, or fingerboards with frets on them, or fretboards. Brass nuts on all of these, stock. Everything was gold. Every last bit of the hardware on these were always gold. Even the groovy little strap buttons there. The Dirty Fingers pickups, gold screws everywhere. The TP6, tailpiece 6, fine tuners. Okay, now you got to remember, this guitar is 81. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I'll get this down off my face so I quit lifting the guitar up, and so you can look at the pretty thing instead of me. A lot of people think that Kahlers and such have been around longer than they have. So you'll see a lot of people advertising on, well, anywhere, whether it be eBay or whatever, saying, I've got a 1981 or 1982 with the original Kahler on it. No, you don't. You might have an 81 or 82, but people, Kahlers did not become available to the public or on guitars until 83. So if you have a guitar that is before 83 with a Kahler on it, it was added later. So remember that. So the fine tuning tailpiece is not something that they stole off Kaler. It would very much be the other way around. Okay, so you don't have to reach way up here just to try to tune up a little something. You could just go right here and there you go. There's no whammy involved with these. That was not the intention, which is a lot of what has to do, which has a lot to do with the actual things I'm going to tell you about explorers in general today. And again, if you're looking for somebody who's just going to play a whole bunch, go away. This is a review. I'm here to talk about the guitar. Will I play it? Yes, but very little. Why? Because it is a review. If you want to hear somebody else shred, go away. This here is a place to learn. Okay? 19 Explorers. Well, that's not actually too far off. Explorers were released in 1958 and failed in 1959 and were gone, same as the Flying V's. There's supposedly less than like 40 of each ever made between the 2 years. I think the numbers are different everywhere, but supposedly the last thing I read, which could or could not be true because I wasn't around then to tell you the truth, I read 19 of these in 1958 and then 3 of them in 1959. Okay, originally they were drawn up as the Futura, which of course Epiphone made a few of, Gibson made a few of later, which were the prototype drawings of these, and then of course then they finally straightened them out to look like this and then released them and nobody wanted them. Same with the Flying V, they released them, nobody wanted them. These stayed gone forever. They came back of course in 76. The V came back in 67 finally, and a couple people took to it, mainly blues guys and so forth. But it was sad. Anyway, so these guitars were not meant, never were meant, until, you know, fairly recently, to be rock guitars and or shred guitars or anything further. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, these were based, these and the Flying V's were based just strictly on the cars of the period. Okay, so you just had the 57 Chevys and the 57 Cadillacs and everything else. They all had the big tail fins on them. That's what these were designed after. These and the V's. They were all about the big tail fins on the cars that were out. That's why they look the way they do. They weren't trying to set out and change the world. They were just going with what was happening in the world, and that was cars were happening, man. They were sleek and they were pointy. That was the only reason for these designs. They thought, you know, people were open enough to electric guitars, solid body guitars by this point, but of course they weren't. So they stuck with Stratocasters more than anything, and then some Tellys and the couple Gibson offerings, you know, the Les Pauls, and not much else was around other than the big fat hollow bodies. But as far as the solid body guitars, people just weren't ready for these yet. Don't know why, and the world may never know. The necks are huge on these things, and they were way back then too. Just typical Gibson huge 50s necks. That's why you try to get a 50s reissue anything from Gibson these days, and they will have the necks like this on them that are just tree trunks. Okay, a little more about this. Let's see, you do have the nasty Tune-O-Matic on here, which sucks, but it is what it is. Again, you can get a nice good close look at how these are actually put together. Okay, so it's what's called sandwiched, and these were during my favorite parts of Gibson's run, which was the Norlin years. They did so many great guitars and so many things to try to change up what they were doing instead of just having 3 or 4 models like they were always doing. It's like, well, here's a Les Paul, here's a 335, and here's an SG. You know, they came up with all kinds of different things in the Norland years and tried all kinds of things, and now they're finally getting appreciated for them, and all those guitars are going through the roof. The roof is on fire. Because people are finally discovering them, probably thanks to me. I'll give myself credit. Hey, I love putting these things out on the internet for people to see. And back here, let you check out the serial. Okay, even written in the groovy maple color. Whether it goes right, it's probably not anything other than color, since the wood is not over there in maple. But pretty cool, huh? But it does have the tilt back headstock, so these do snap easy, as do all Gibson guitars that have that, which will always be a huge downfall for Gibson, period. Okay, and again, about the whole rock thing, these guitars were never ever intended for rock, you know, deliberately. It just became that way, that people finally in the late 70s, early 80s started digging this shape, between, you know, Dean putting them out and Hamer and, you know, other companies putting them out, and then Gibson decided to start catching up with them and hitting them. Then they started putting hotter and hotter pickups in them as metal and hard rock developed. Now these pickups, now we'll actually get to hear the guitar. These pickups are the Dirty Fingers pickups, which are basically the equivalent of like a DiMarzio Super Distortion, but not quite as high output, about 15.5, 16.5K on the output. But you'll see that these are very classic rock sounding. They are not metal sounding. Of course, if you put enough gain on anything, it's going to go there, but not to the satisfaction of most heavy metal players. So if you're looking for one of these just to play and shred on and all that stuff, this is not the one, not if you keep it stock. Okay, these were still, you know, back in the days before things got too crazy, these were still in the Southern rock, you know, Skinner 38 special days and stuff, you know, so just right at the end of all that, before MTV, you know, quite came into being. But then again, a lot of the 80s rock had these type sounds. So I'm going to go to my Johnson Millennium amps that I always use, the JM150s modeling amps, and this is just set on a Fender Twin reverb setting. Okay, so, and there's the verb. So the pickups are fairly hot, but they are not voiced for metal or hard rock. They are what they are. They were the voice of what was out at that time. So think Skinnerd, think of the stuff that was out at the time. Black Sabbath, you know, that type of thing. They do it very well. Why? Because it's authentic. It's what was, you know, these pickups were what were being played at the time. So they're going to give you that sound. I'm going to go to the neck pickup, okay, and turn the volume down about 5. Now I don't have the amp loud because we don't need it loud. You can hear a little bit of dirt. Okay, so it's like a so you can see where it has that sound. But if I stay on the neck pickup and I dime it out so that the volume's on 10, and of course we're here on the neck pickup, it just automatically lends itself to the songs of the time. Okay, so it's got that sound, you know. Both pickups. Okay, but they have that sound. Let's see. Go to the bridge pickup. And you go to the lead stuff. Okay, so not tons of overdrive or distortion. I mean, the overdrive is there. And again, this is a Fender Twin model of amp, and there's no distortion on the amp. This is just the pickups overdriving the preamp section. That's all it is, just because they are hot pickups, but they're not metal sounding. They're just for the rock. Okay? Okay, so those are the kind of sounds you get. Here's both pickups again. I'll just back off both of them just a little bit to clean it up. Do some country. Okay, so it doesn't clean up all the way. A pickup like this isn't going to, really. Okay, I'll go find an extremely squeaky clean twin sound. Go wide open with the pickups again. Okay, so there it is, as clean as you can possibly get it. That's the neck pickup. Okay, so there's as clean as they're going to get. This not bad, really. But you can hear they're definitely humbuckers. Right in the middle, both pickups wide open. Okay, now where if you were to take this guitar, put it down, and grab the Flying V, which is a 1980. A lot lighter by like about 3 pounds lighter. Now listen, single coils, big time. Okay, so those are okay. So way different pickups. So those are single coil to the max. Half the output. These are about 7.5K on the output. And from 79 through 81, they kept these boomerang pickups, or what they actually called them. They are not V-shaped pickups, they called them boomerang pickups. Then the rockers really wanted their way, so in 82, when the final year, they did no longer cut out that part of the fretboard. They actually left it go across, and they put these Dirty Fingers pickups in it, and then started putting them out in white and red and black and other colors, and then the guitar died the same year, and away it went. Then they stuck to more traditional Flying V's after that, because everybody griped about the single coils. Sounds too much like a damn Fender, man. Okay, so anyway, what are the good things and the bad things about this guitar? The great thing is the fact that they went ahead and used the metal nut, the brass nut, any alloy of nut. I don't care as long as it's metal. Therefore it sounds closer. With your open notes, as it does, fretted against metal. Okay, so why would you want to have bone or plastic up here if it sounds so great? Then why, you might as well stick bone and plastic frets on if that sounds so great up there. So think about it, people. Okay, so they did the right thing by putting a metal nut on it. Okay, everything is gold, which I personally love. 90% people hate gold because it wears off. Let's see, 81, 32-year-old guitar, and the gold is perfect on it. Don't tell me about the gold wearing off. If you don't take care of your guitars, it could. But if you take care of your stuff, no problem. Even the screws in the pickguard are like brand flipping new. Is it because the guitar hasn't been played? No. It's just, it's been taken care of. That's it. Okay, so the guitar is still really hot compared to that last one. Okay, this thing's got like 5 times the output that does. If that's your thing, that's cool. It's not my thing. I got it just to match the other guitar, and no other reason. I've just been looking for one of these for years and years and years. But I'm sure there are things that I will use it on for recording wise. When I just really need to get that southern rock sound, since I am a country player, that sound up here in the neck or anywhere, going back to the other version of my twin that I usually use. I mean, it's just got some cool stuff here. I'll back these back down a little bit, the volume, so it's 2 volumes, 1 tone, so you can still do the, I need to clean my switch, of course. So you can still do the kill switch thing. But it gives you just that very edgy sound, well, like The Edge from U2. The pickups from the 76s were not quite as hot as these, but still very much voiced like them. So they're not hot pickups, and they're not dirty unless you force them to be dirty by your amp settings or your pedals and so forth. So again, these were not originally meant, nor when they were finally put back out again, they still were not meant for rock and roll. Maybe rock and roll, just not rock. You know, sure, you can do the twist and all that stuff. You know, it's just what was out when these came out. But again, that southern rock, the Skinner, the 38 Special, the Molly Hatchet, all that kind of stuff that was out at the time. Perfect guitars. You know, everybody was using these. Not this specific one, but a few of them did. God, they came out with another name. What was it? Thunder Horse or some kind of thing that somebody did a take of these on it also. But the bevels, I think, are very cool. The sandwiched bodies are great. The back is just, check it out. Here's the neck joining the body there. And just one simple panel there for your 3 knobs. Very easy, simple setup, and just a very basic guitar. It weighs in at what is it, 9.6 pounds is the weight on this. The V is just over 6 pounds. Okay, so these things hardly weigh anything. Flying V's hardly ever weigh anything. Okay, you'll notice on the V here it's only got the cutaway here on the one side, but not on the other. That's for your gut. They didn't leave you any place to rest it on here, but for your leg. But you don't play them that way when you play a V. You put that between your leg like this, and you play it classical style. Or you just put a strap on and deal with it. Did I say strap on? I'm sure I did. It's kind of the way I talk. Now, another thing just to point out. Again, I told you about the headstocks on these loving to break off, you know, just like any Les Paul would or any other Gibson. But Gibson did for a while the volutes on the back, which was the best thing they ever did, but Gibson traditionalists hate it because, well, they are who they are. But this is the value right here. See that big old heavy thing? Let me give you a profile. That was when these headstocks did not break. They actually put that back there, and that was reinforcement for it so they could fall over. And gone was the problem of Gibson headstocks breaking. Shouldn't they go back to that? Everybody, no, that's not how they were done originally. Well, would you rather have a broken guitar or something like this that just helps so much? So I can knock this guitar over as much as I want, and chances are 80% probably that it's not going to break. Whereas it would be about, you would have about a 80% chance that it's going to break otherwise on any Gibson guitar, including this Explorer. The Explorer headstocks break off just as easy as the Les Paul ones and the SG ones and the everything else that's not made well. Okay, so I can't say anything bad about this guitar other than, you know, of course, just the things that make no sense, like the two pneumatic bridges, of course, and we all know why. But for anybody who's never watched one of my Goofy videos, it's because you have strings going over top of knife-edged, you know, saddles like that. They just cut your strings. They put big dents in them, they break them. They're just not a good thing. They're not a great thing for sustain because the string is not coming in contact with hardly anything there. The secret to sustain, as far as back there goes, number one, get your pickups low enough. See how low that pickup is? Get them away from your string so there's no magnetic drag on them. You know, there's a point to where all of a sudden the tone just becomes better when you're putting them lower. Okay, so keep your pickups down away from your strings, and they will sound in tune more, and they will sustain more because your strings will keep ringing and ringing and ringing instead of coming to a magnetic stop directly over top of the pull pieces. Your strings want to vibrate all day long, but they can't because of these magnet things. So get those away from there, and your string will keep on ringing and your pickup will keep picking it up. But you kill your sustain by having your strings resting on little bitty skinny saddles like these two pneumatic bridges. If you get big roller bridges or just big huge Fender type, not all Fender ones, but the ones they use from like on the American Standard starting from 1987 on, the big thick ones, those will sustain till the cows come home, if you happen to have any cows. But that's where you get your sustain from, is whatever the string actually touches. And it's not touching anything here, folks, so sustain is not good on these guitars. And it's gone. Let me see. If you want to do the Hendrix thing and try to command some sustain here, but it's going to die because it is what it is. But other bad things. I love to point out the bad things on guitars because everybody always says, well, it's a Gibson, so it's good enough. No, it's not. That's not the thing. Like I said, the pickups are very geared at Southern rock or just regular stuff. They can be as clean as a whistle, like you heard before. I don't know why they say clean as a whistle. I don't know how clean a whistle is supposed to be, but go to the neck pickup. Now that is a tone that you can want to hit the record button for. That's just some nice tone. Excuse my badness. stuff. In the middle. Neck pickup. So as clean as you want. Middle. And neck. Okay. But you want those big old Gibson sounds from way back when. Neck pickup on a really clean setting like this is great. Okay, so it's just okay, and then back again, and I'll shut up. You've seen pretty much what this thing does. I'll throw on a couple noisemakers for a second, but okay. God, what is there to show? I mean, it's just you gotta want to get more authentic, just go to the neck. More authentic, pull off some of that distortion by just turning it down. Okay, so it's just great sounding axe. Throw the noisemakers on there. Let's see, let's go up to this stuff. Okay, so yeah, noise boxes are noise boxes. It'll do whatever you want. But again, remember they were designed in 58, 59, they died, they made 3 of them in 59, good lordy. And they came back, but they're one of the most beautifully designed guitars I've ever seen. It's just, they balance perfectly. Gibson is not good with putting strap buttons in the right place. You'll notice every SG you have, neck dives. It's not because it's neck heavy, it's because Gibson does not have somebody that's bright enough in their shop to simply put the time into finding where to put this strap button. Sure, put the one in the middle, on the back, then find a point where the guitar is going to hang right, and then put the strap button there, and it will hang all day. You know, people all day long with their Gibsons have to put their strap buttons somewhere else because they don't hang right. So somebody needs to smarten up over there. I guarantee it won't happen anytime soon. But anyway, again, this here is the 81 version. They went again of the Explorer 2 or the E2. Gibson did them again in 1979 through 1983 when they met their demise. Again, the E2s stuck around a little longer with their CMT, curly maple top versions, but none of them had the contours, the cutaways, the multi-laminate bodies and stuff. They were just a straight flat top. You can see I have some of those also on my reviews. Like they did everything. These were extremely high-end guitars. Again, with the TP6 fine-tuning bridge and the ebony fingerboard, which I really like a lot over the rosewood. And these are just beautiful instruments. They feel good. They give that great classic rock tone. And if you're looking for this to do metal and stuff, you can get it out of it, but it does have the huge neck on it. You're going to stick to it because there's tons of that sticky ass nitro here on the back of the neck and all over the guitar. Oddly enough though, the nitro on these, you know, on the V here and so forth, doesn't come off as easy as most Gibsons do, where it's all real sticky and the stuff will just fall off your guitar as soon as you put it on a stand or hang it by its neck. These guitars have actually been hanging by their neck since the day they were born, and it doesn't go through. So over the years, Gibson has messed with the nitro, what would you call it, concoction, you know, to try to make it last better. But then again, I've had some of their very recent guitars and the stuff falls right off. But so they keep screwing up. Their quality control at Gibson is not good. So it takes a long time to find a good Gibson. Just like it takes a hard time to find a good guitar, period. So again, trying to get this to do the autofocus. Great brass nut. Good start on the sustain there, but they killed it using the Tunomatic. But beautiful guitars, huh? And again, they play, you know, you have a man's guitar on, if you want to call it a man's guitar. I mean, it takes up your whole hand. I know that feeling so well. Yeah, right, I'm a white boy. But yeah, these things have a meaty baseball bat neck on them. So if that is a factor in you ever buying one of these, just know that yes, it has the baseball bat neck on it. And again, they sound everything from classic blues tones. They sound like big, huge hollow body, better than their hollow bodies. So squeaky clean to that southern rock sound. They do it all extremely well. They react to pedals very well. I can't say anything bad about them other than the Tunomatic. And what else was it? Oh yeah, the lack of the volume here in the back. So yeah, your headstocks will break off. Other than that, I really love the guitar and everything about it. I think it's sexy as all hell with the you know, ergonomic contours and stuff. I don't like them being so square and boxy. I think this just really adds a lot to it. And again, I'm a huge Norland Years fan, and I think they pretty much ended up that whole era very well by putting these type of things out, just going full balls out and creating some classy instruments. So again, I noticed there was no reviews for these guitars on YouTube anywhere. A couple people had them, you know, on there. 15-second one and a 26-second one of nothing other than going look, and then they shut the camera off. Okay, so there's 40 minutes worth of me blabbing forever. And again, the Dirty Fingers pickups, just regular old speed knobs. Nothing else to tell you other than your straps are not going to fall off of those very easy. So nice job on the strap buttons, and just nice job on the design altogether, I think. One of the classiest ones. And I will be looking for the V and the E2 in the reverse condition. So if anybody ever has one of these, where it's maple on top and maple on the back, and then has the little rosewood strips going down this way, so just the opposite cosmetically or wood wise. Of course that won't sound any different, since wood makes no difference in an electric guitar's sound once it's plugged in. Anybody has any of those in perfect condition, hit me up. If it's anything less than perfect and not original, I have no desire for it. But if you have one that's original and perfect, let me know and I'll buy it from you yesterday. Okay, so once again, Scott Grove with this, playing that, and I just hope you enjoy checking these out for those of you who don't know what these are, or just for escaping back to the early 80s when you first saw these and go, oh yeah, I remember those. And just taking a little time warp trip with me. And once again, yes, they were designed after the cars of the late 50s, tail fins. That's where the whole design came from, for those of you who just didn't know. Look at it this way, I know it looks like the shark fin on Jaws. Can I do that? Let's see. Let me turn off the tone. Nope, need my bass. Okay, anyway, so I'm out of here. I'm unplugging this damn thing. And groovy, groovy, groovy X. You guys take care. Hasta la pasta. And bye. Take care, bye. Where's my off button, god dang it. Later.